Hold on. Hello? Can you hear me? Nobody could hear me that whole time. That's great. Can you hear me now? Hey, hey. Oh, thank gosh. Okay. Let me start again. This is we're getting back into the hang of things. I've only done this once before. Second time, here we are. So I'll start again. Say hi, let me know who you are, how you where you are joining me from, and I want to know what you are reading right now. So whether it is fiction, non-fiction, audiobook, physical book, whatever your vibe is, let me know what you're reading right now. What you would have seen me holding up but not saying anything about is that I'm reading The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina, or Divina, which is about like a family of like Ecuadorian witches or magical people. And I started it last night. I'm like 50 pages in and really enjoying it. So it's basically brand new. It just got released and I got it from the library. So highly recommend this so far. But I would love to know what you are reading, if anything. And this is going to be a great encouragement for me to make my way through my like to be read pile, of which is this whole cart, which is 3 levels deep, plus this stuff over here, plus piles of books I also have next to me on the floor. So if I at least have to read one a week so I can tell you something new every week, then good work. Awesome. Great that you all can hear me now. Apologies for that, and thank you for letting me know and bearing with me as I figure this stuff out. So let me share my screen with you and we will chat. I'm excited because I've had a breakthrough since last week, so that's cool, and I'll share that with you, and then we will dive into this week's goodies. But just as a recap, and in case you missed it, last week there we just sort of like intro to everything and how it was all going to work, and what we were talking about, and then we dove into analyzing like where the brand is right now, and started looking at the vision. Let's chat about what you're reading. Valentina from Argentina reading Dare to Lead from Brene Brown. Awesome. I went to a Brene Brown workshop like maybe a year ago before COVID. I went to a conference and they had a workshop run by somebody who's like trained in Brene Brown things, and it was really cool. Hey Bethany, joining from the Wairarapa in Aotearoa. Currently reading a non-fiction textbook, Strengths Approaches by Wayne McCashin. Cool. Is that related to like Strengths Finder and like the Gallup strengths or something similar? I'm a big Strengths Finder fan, so exciting if that's what that is. Okay, so today, firstly, let me tell you about my breakthrough. So, as you may remember, last week we were talking about like the vision for the brand, and I was telling you about sort of my reasoning why reading and reading fantasy in particular was so important to me, right? Because it's a community that I love. I love finding like-minded people. I really love fantasy and magic and witches because it's sort of like a magical escape and experience. I really use it to decompress and step away from my daily life, and I love or want to basically bring people together around those similar topics. Hey Pepe! Pepper Raccoon is here, everybody. Nice to see you. And Bethany says it aligns strength-based approaches to helping professionals, e.g. social work, healthcare. Awesome. That sounds really cool. Very nerdy about anything strengths related. And I have a couple of the strengths books. So I love that. That's awesome. Pepper, you missed it, but I was just talking about we're all sharing what books we're reading. So if you are reading anything right now, I'm reading The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina. So highly recommend. Oakenbird, hello. Tanny is in New South Wales, Australia. I read lots of trashy books, but I love them. Yes, we're all about trashy books around here. I'm also all about trashy TV because I have a very anxious, I have anxiety and I have a lot of like thoughts that never shut up, and watching like trashy reality TV is one of the ways that my brain actually shuts up. So all about the trashiness around here. Pippi is also reading the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Now, yeah, it's a long series, so you might be reading that for a while. But that's really exciting. I want to start reading the Wheel of Time series, and that is also very long. But I managed to find the first one secondhand at a bookshop, which is near on impossible because it basically you just find the book like 12. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, no. There's a TV series coming out, which is why I wanted to read the book. But that's disappointing. It's a good series, sort of, but the women characters are so bad. Oh, a common occurrence in fantasy books, unfortunately. Like old fantasy series written by white men, basically all the women suck. But anyway, right. Well, I love hearing what you're all reading. This is exciting. And I can't wait to catch up every week and I'll tell you what I'm reading. And hopefully it's something new every week. So, basically, yeah, last week we were talking about why this whole thing is important to me, why I care, what is my reason for being, what is the vision behind the brand, right? And we got to this point. So we were talking about like a space to escape into a fantasy world together, or creating like a safe space for a magical community, something like that. So I started just brainstorming a lot of words. I was like using the thesaurus, and I just spent like 30 minutes brainstorming this stuff after we talked last week because I was frustrated. So I brainstormed a bunch of this stuff like escape together, magic made something, like it was like magic made manifest, or like magic made real, or something like that. I don't know, didn't complete the sentence obviously. Fueled by fantasy, or like found in fantasy, because we were talking about like finding other people, or like kind of finding space or time or calm in fantasy, finding yourself. Then I was like united in something, that's not right. Home for something, safety for the spellbound. And then here is the breakthrough. I think this might be the vision, or this starts of a great vision. Currently I think the vision is stomping ground for the spellbound. What do we think? Tell me your thoughts on this vision. I am excited about it, and I can envision it like on my Instagram bio, on a website, on the YouTube channel banner, like all of the stuff. I feel like it sounds like a good thing to me. Yeah, same. It's good, right? Like I feel like this is where we can all hang out. This is for the spellbound people. This is like, it's a little bit kind of badass, which I kind of like, that sort of combo of like badass, witchy. Yeah, you guys are liking it. The rhyme is good. I am a sucker for a rhyme or an alliteration. Anything that rhymes or has alliteration, and this has both. So I think it's good. Yeah, same. Yeah. I actually should find out if this should be hyphenated, stomping ground. Not sure. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But that was my breakthrough. So I'm glad you are all on board with the breakthrough. I'm liking it. So that's the vision. Like I said last week as well, these things will be iterated on, and we'll come back to them as we work through other stuff, because, you know, we might write the mission and then that kind of feeds into the vision and all the stuff like that. So we might come back to it, but I think it's a pretty good place to land. All right, so that was last week. This week, we're on to our sort of philosophy. Let me change this. So, this week we want to talk about sort of the mission, the values, and the unique approach. So that's kind of like your philosophy or your approach to doing something, because like your approach as a graphic designer is going to be completely different to somebody else's, or your approach as a copywriter or a whatever illustrator, whatever you will do, your approach can be completely different to somebody else's, right? My approach as a branding person, a brand strategist and coach, is completely different to the next brand strategist, right? So that's what we're going to talk about this week. So starting with our mission. Oh my gosh, how did I just do that? Just made a moon. So we kind of brainstormed a little bit of the mission, I think, in here, in the vision, because there's a little bit in sort of like who it's for, what it's about. So we can sort of copy. I might just copy this whole thing and paste it in the mission one. If you weren't here last week as well, please just know that you can sing out with any questions at any time, any comments. Yeet them at me. I'm here to answer any and all questions about anything that we're doing, or even not what we're doing, but anything branding, creativity, books related. Just fire it at me. PP says, sorry if I'm quiet, I'm packing orders and loving it. It's totally fine. You keep packing your orders, and I'm just happy that you are here. So thank you. Cool. So basically, let's talk about a mission. So a mission is made up essentially of what you do, who you do it for, who you do it for, how you do it. Oh, that's right. Sorry. What you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and the value that it provides. So you will know, and you will have heard of ones that are basically like, we help X do X by X so that X, right? So essentially, like Maker and Moxie's one is that we help creative entrepreneurs to build their brand, share their work, and own their Moxie so that they can so that you can live the creative life of your dreams, right? I should know that off by heart, but it took me a minute. But that's essentially what a mission is made up of. It doesn't always have to be in that order or in that format or like laid out like that, but it's just a really good way of making sure that you and your audience are clear on what you are about, right? So we can sort of just go through and answer these questions. So let me just insert a divider so I can separate this stuff. Okay. Any questions about the like structure of a mission or what goes into a mission while we're here? Just while I'm setting this up for success. Also, if you're not on the Notion buzz, get on it. It's a good time. Okay, so what we do is kind of what was here was like bringing people together, or like gathering people, creating space, etc. How we do it is through bookish stuff. And like with anything, and like I explained last time, this is the Marie Kondo process. Just chuck anything and everything out, and then we will find the bits that spark joy. So through bookish stuff might not make it into the mission, but it's just helping to get the idea out on paper, right? Let me scroll up, and I might also just zoom in so you can see this a bit better. Okay. Hopefully that's better, a bit more zoomed in. It looks massive for me, but I think it looks better for you on the screen. Okay, and who we do it for is like, well, we've kind of said in our vision that it's like the spellbound people into magical fantasy books, etc. And the value that it provides is so that we can sort of escape together or find our people, experience the magic. Right, this is all making sense. So I'm just going through each of those kind of questions and brainstorming mind mapping the different questions and what fits for us, right? So we're just going through that, and then we're going to try and pull it all together. So it would be like this is where you get an insight into my brain, because I'm like and 90% of me writing strategies is doing, I don't know if you can hear this, but I just do this on the keyboard. Like thinking, drum roll on the keyboard. So it could be like bringing spellbound peeps together through books. So spellbound people together through the magic of books. And I'm going to change all of this, I can tell you right now. But again, it's just kind of putting it together, and then we can find the perfect words. Bringing spellbound peeps together through the magic of books. To experience, I don't know, the escape. Okay, so we've basically written a mission. Not good. I would not define this as a good mission, but it is, it's there. Cheney is saying a safe place to gather. Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe it's like creating a safe space together for I'm just going to put this down, but it's not right. Together around right. There you go. Version number 2. Creating a safe space for spellbound people together around a shared love of books. That's not bad. I think it could have some more finesse, but I think that's pretty good and kind of gets across the essence of what we're doing. Safe space for spellbound people together around a shared love of books. Yeah, or reading, or can't type. Cool. I feel like not great about the full execution of this. Like, I definitely want to keep working on this. And I think we'll come back, but I think it's good. People loves the co-creation. Yeah, that's what we're all about. We are working on this together. Yeah, I'm all about collaborating, working on this together. I definitely want your help. And hopefully I can help you also. And you can see how this process works. So Love that you love it. Okay, awesome. I think we'll come back to that. But let's move on to values. Hey, we've got 30 minutes-ish left. So if we spend like 15 minutes on values and then 15 minutes on the unique approach, and then we'll come back and see if we have time for the other things. Okay, values. Let's talk about values. So if you know me, you know I have a passion for values done well. I think that effective brand values should be, or need to be, actually, I believe so deeply in this that I will say they need to be. They need to be unique to you. They need to be like actionable, so you know exactly what it means and how to outwork that value, and it needs to be measurable, so you need to be able to tell if you are doing that value or not, or if people on your team are doing that value or not. So for example, and basically this is why I don't think that ideally your values should be just one word, because like creativity, for example, is a value that a lot of people have, but it doesn't say or mean anything. Like, what does creativity mean to you could be completely different for like Pippa. Creativity could mean something completely different to her than it means to me, than it means to Cheney, right? It's completely different. So it doesn't make sense to just have creativity. It's also hard to know, like, how do you know if you're outworking creativity? What does that look like? How do you like know what that means and what it looks like in action? And then how do you measure creativity? It's you just can't. Right? So some examples of two different creativity based values is ConvertKit, who I use for my email marketing software. One of their values is create every day. So that means to them that what's important about creativity is that they are doing it every day, right? That whatever they're doing, whatever happens in their life and their business and whatever, they are finding the space and the time and the energy to make something or to come up with a creative idea or do something different, right? And so that's unique to them. It explains exactly what it means and it's measurable, right? You can tell if you have created today or have felt creative today, right? My creativity-based value for Maker and Moxie is be creative. Wait, I should know this. It's be creative, live creatively, something like that. My brain not working. There we go. I was there. So it's be creative, live creatively, and practice creativity. So it's very unique to me and specific to what is important to us, because it's like about really living the creative life of the creatives that we're working with, right? So it's like retaining the creativity that I have, as well as helping everybody else be creative. Yeah. So it's easy for me to measure that. I know exactly what it means, etc. Whereas if my value or ConvertKit's value was just creative or creativity, doesn't mean anything. And it's the same with any value, right? So those one word things are not bad. They are great starting points. But I just always recommend that you turn those words into action statements. So they should have like a verb. Yeah. I was like, let me just check that those are verbs. And my like year 13 English came back into my brain. So yeah, make sure that they are like have a verb and they are like action statements. So like do this or be this or bring this or create this or whatever. So it's an action statement that you know how to implement and measure, Does that make sense? Any questions about my passion-fueled rant about values? And if you do just have one word, it's like, don't feel bad. That's the normal thing that everybody does. But hopefully you can use this process to make them even better. Cool. Or if you do have questions, keep them coming. So, values for books of Holly. Obviously, as a independent creator, a lot of you and me included, our values will align with us as people. So my personal values are going to be very similar to the values here. So let me think out loud about my values, which will be fun. So something that is really important to me is inclusivity, obviously. And we will figure out what exactly that looks like. But is that spelled right? Accessibility. Yeah, my brain. With Maker and Moxie, with this, with anything, it's always really important to me to make sure that the books that we're recommending or talking about have are diverse and inclusive. Some of my favorite books are basically are the ones that have queer romance. I'm yes, you just show me some badass women who also kiss. I'm into it. So anything that's inclusive and diverse, I want to make sure that authors are inclusive and diverse as well, coming from a range of different people. We want to make sure that anything I'm putting out is as inclusive and accessible as possible. So videos that I'm creating should have captions, Instagram posts should have image descriptions and alt text, all of that stuff, right? So it's important to me to do as best as I can to make things as inclusive, diverse, accessible as possible. There we go. Other values is that also, I don't know if this is a value or maybe just will be a guideline for the visuals, but I like doing things differently. So I don't want my Bookstagram to look the same as anybody else's Bookstagram. I want to do things a little bit different and make people think a little bit differently. Same with Maker and Moxie, right? It's we want to stand out. We don't want to be every other branding agency or brand strategist. I want to do something different. Other things that are important to me as books of Holly. I'm not sure. Values. I'm just going to make some notes under here as well about the stuff I mentioned before. So diverse authors, inclusive characters, topics. Does anybody, have any questions about values or anything as I'm writing these notes, or any comments? I know that, my ranty values thing might be but let me know. And accessible content. Unique. Kinds of content. Cool. I don't know if I can think of any other values right now. I usually aim for 3 to 5. And I'm sure they will come to me. I'll be like in bed at like 12 o'clock tonight and I'll think of it. But we can come back and add them in later if I do think about it. I don't know. Yeah, if I have any others right now. I'm trying to think. And also I was going to mention in the accessibility thing, like BookTube or BookTok, or if you're involved in any of those communities, you'll know there's a lot of stuff about like, a lot of bookish people like do book hauls and stuff like that where they spend, I don't even know, thousands of dollars on like brand new books and stuff. But I also am always aware of things being accessible like financially as well. Like I use the library, like this whole stack of books is from the library. So I want to make sure I like highlight that as well, that making things accessible financially, but also supporting, like if you are going to buy new books, or then support like local places or indie bookshops. Go find them secondhand at bookshops. Those are my favorite places to find books, because you also get them for a bargain. And like using your local library and stuff like that. So I don't know what value that is and needs a title, but yeah, something like that. Cool. All right. Supporting. Yeah, cool. All right. How do you think about these values? This one needs a name, obviously. And then I'm going to turn them into action statements, and write a little description. So as you saw here, the Maker and Moxie one, each value has like its action statement and then a description. And then as I was just saying about ConvertKit.com/about, they do a similar thing. So is it on here? Oh yeah, read about our mission and values. So their values do the same, right? So they have like, teach everything you know. We teach everything we know for the benefit of creators and the broader tech industry. We encourage our community to do the same. So like every value has an explanation so that you know exactly what it means. Second one needs to be something about supporting local communities. Yeah, I think, yeah. Oops. Yeah, definitely is something like that. Second hand stores, indie bookshops, the library. Yeah, cool. I think that's awesome. Thank you, Pippa. Sometimes you just need somebody external to see the magic. Cool. Supporting. I think I also will say supporting and like celebrating, because if the goal is to be telling people about books and to be sharing the books that I'm buying or books that I'm getting from the library and stuff like that, like I want to celebrate those places as well and take that responsibility as a don't want to say influencer, but somebody on the internet with a small amount of influence. Take it seriously, and do a good job with it. So then, like I said, there might be more values. I feel like there could be one or two more that I will think of, probably at random points in my night, as my anxiety loves to do. But I think these are good, and we can now turn them into action statements. So some of them are already basically there. So support and celebrate local communities. Awesome. Do things differently. Basically already there. And create a space for all or something. They can be better for sure. These can all be better worded, but you can see how hopefully you can see how I just turned those into action statements. So they're like active tone of voice with like a verb, like create, support, do. So it's clear what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, cool. Welcoming, space for like I do want it to be welcoming, but I just don't know if that's the right wording. Okay, we'll think about that, I think. Dun dun dun. Oops. Cool. All right. We have values, people. Again, like the mission, they need work. But we have them. So that's awesome. And we have like bullet points underneath that we can turn into action statements. Not action statements, sorry, descriptions. And basically what I do, how I do this is like I normally start it like I ensure that, so just I'm going to start each one saying I this, and then I finish the paragraph repeating the value. So I normally say like, I ensure that the authors, characters and topics I share are, as diverse and inclusive as possible and shared in an accessible way. I create welcoming space for all. I normally say I always aim to create a welcoming space for all. So can you see how that kind of all fits together? Cool. So we've covered like what the value is, what it looks like, and how it's sort of measured, right? So that is a way more effective value in my mind than what we started with, which was like inclusivity, right? And because you can guarantee that so many people, especially now, have just inclusivity as a value. But when you make it really specific to you and what's important to you, it becomes a lot more powerful. So yeah, we will and can do the same for the other values, and I will do that after this. Cool. All right, let's move on from values. Anybody got any questions or comments on the values or anything like that before / as we move on? Let me know, because I know that values is something people want to get right, but it can be tricky. So let me know. And if you have any values that like you have that are like one word right now, or you're a little bit stuck on or anything like that, and you want me to think about it, chuck it in the comments. Let me have a think. Let's help you together. And we can think about like, how would I turn it into an action statement, or how would I turn it into a description? Anything like that. Let me know. Okay. As you are thinking about that, we'll move on to the unique approach. So, basically your unique approach, or your philosophy, or whatever you want to call it, is like your beliefs that are different to other people's that make your approach different, right? So, for example, the Maker and Moxie unique approach or philosophy is that there's kind of two parts to it. One is that it's by creators for creators. So a lot of brand strategy content or information or education or inspiration is broad or aimed at like corporate businesses or with the mindset of like a startup or something like that. Whereas Maker and Moxie's unique approach is that everything we do is by creators for creators because it needs to be. So that it's like specifically tailored to creators, right? It's also another part of our unique approach is that it's very person driven. So a lot of corporate brand strategies or like brand coaching will talk about like you have to put your audience first and that's all you should care about and all of that stuff. But our approach is kind of a little bit of the reverse. It's like because we're focused on creatives and you are the people that are running your personal brand or your creative brand, then your brand should be about you and you should be happy with it, proud of it. It should come from your passion and your vision and your mission and all that stuff, right? And celebrate your personality so that you can build it in a really genuine, authentic, excited way, right? So that's an example of our unique approach, is that it's by creatives, for creatives, and it's also built for you, with you in mind, or with you, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. So the unique approach for this brand, part one, I think, is that it's fantasy specific. So I haven't found, I could just be missing out on a whole group of people, but I haven't found that many people. I have found a few, but that many people who basically only talk about fantasy books, and that's like their whole thing. Some of them are like, they'll be into fantasy, but they'll also read like contemporary fiction or historical fiction or whatever, like all these other genres. Whereas I'm like, no, I don't care about any other kind of books. I've tried and I don't care. Like everybody right now is reading the new book by the person who wrote like Normal People and Conversations with Friends, Sally Rooney, the new Sally Rooney book, right? This is an example is that everybody is talking about it and I could not care less. Like the only way I care is because everybody else is reading it, but otherwise I'm like, there's no magic, which means I don't care. I really have no interest in reading about people's everyday lives. I want to read about high fantasy and magic, right? So a unique approach for Books of Holly is that it's very fantasy specific. People, fuck yes, burn it down. Yeah, I just don't care. Like, I've tried so many times. I read Normal People. I read like Eleanor Oliphant is Gonna Be Fine or whatever. So many of those like contemporary fiction. Basically all the ones that are in Reese Witherspoon's book club. And I mostly do not care. Promo sticker, give me magic or get the fuck out. Yeah, essentially. Trying to read famous man-written fiction, snore. Yeah, it's a mood. My favorite kind of books is any book that has magic, badass women, lesbians or bisexuals, queer romance of some kind. Dragons are cool also, and heists. I'm into like heists or like thievery or like missions. So like some of my, and books within books about books, I'm so here for. The Starless Sea, heaven. Because that was like magic and books. So yeah, those are my jam. If it doesn't include those things, I almost can guarantee you I won't care. So my unique approach is very fantasy specific and very targeted towards people who are also like queer people who love badass women and magic and dragons. And if you're one of those people, you are my people and in the right place, and I'm building this for you. Okay, so fantasy specific is the unique approach. Also, something else that I'm not sure if is really like the unique approach or something that will come up in like our positioning or differentiators or something, is that I have a background in design and know how to build a brand. And so a lot of, or some bookish things are like not that well designed in my opinion. So I think we can stand out by like doing some really cool shit, essentially. So that's kind of a unique approach, is like making bookish things cool. That sounds very uncool. Because, okay, hear me out. If you are like, aside from the fact that like, fuck JK Rowling, but if you are into anything Harry Potter related, you will know that Harry Potter merch is the ugliest stuff generally that I've ever seen. Like, it's always so not cool. There's some like cool indie stuff that's actually cool, but like the actual Harry Potter stuff, crap. And I always wanted to make like actual good designed Harry Potter things, and that's generally how I feel about a lot of bookish things. Is like, let's make this cool, like let's do it actually cool. Pepper just shouted with laughter. I'm glad. Happy to make you laugh. So yeah, we're gonna make bookish things badass. Okay, I want to like have stuff on my Instagram that you would want to like print out and put on your wall, or I want to have like if one day we make like merch or something that you would actually want to wear, right? That's not just like, oh, I want to rep this thing, but I also, this is so ugly. Does that make sense? Hopefully that is not mean. But if you have looked at any like, or like any fandom, I feel like, oh, just bad. Mass marketed rubbish. So we're going to make cool shit. Okay. After my Harry Potter and JK Rowling another rant for today, I think this is a good approach. Is like very fantasy specific, that's unique to us, and very like, oh, and also kind of the like mental health approach, like talking about how reading is like an escape. Reading as an escape, and like talking about anxiety and stuff will be really important to me. And I mean, I think a lot of bookish people do talk about that, because a lot of bookish people are introverted people with anxiety and or depression and or other mental health things. So yeah, but I think just in combination will be a good unique approach. Right. Okay. Nailed it. So I will obviously we will work together to like rework this, all of this stuff that we've done today, and make it into stuff that sounds really good, and we're going to put it into the template, which I'll show you. Oh, not in there. You can, I mentioned last week that the brand strategy template we're going to be using was going to be going up for sale, and is currently up for sale at shop.makerandmoxie.nz. It's called the brand strategy kit for creators. It includes it's got the whole brand strategy template, it's got the full example of a brand strategy in it, a 5-minute Canva tutorial and a bonus 1-page strategy. So you can check that out if you are in need of a brand strategy. But we are going to put all of the stuff that we're doing right now into this document. So like where are we? Like our vision will go in here, our mission, our values, our philosophy that we just talked about is going to go in here. So we will fill in all of this together once we've got it, kind of most of it all together. So that's it for today, I think. If any of you have any last questions before we roll on and move on and wrap things up for today, fire them in the chat to me now and I'll answer any of them. Like I said, if you have any values or anything you want me to quickly give you my feedback on or anything, yeet it in there right now. Let me change my thing so you can see me. Hi. So we've just done our mission, values, unique approach. Exciting. Next week we are going to talk about our people. So that's cool. We kind of talked a little bit about them. So we will dive into that next week. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Pippa says we should set up a Twitch stream on my channel that you come on and we chat about biz stuff so my audience can come find your channel. Yeah, for sure. I would love that. That would be awesome. I will DM you. I know a bunch of creators who interact with me who would benefit from your knowledge. Oh, I'd love that. That would be awesome. Yeah, let's chat about it. Set it up. That would be great. I also just before this recorded a podcast about Twitch for creators, and I used Pippa as an example, obviously, because Pippa, if you don't know, if none of you follow Pippa already, go over and do that right now, because Pippa shares and streams her art process on Twitch. It's amazing. A shining example of being a dumpster of a human. You are not a dumpster. You are a magical person, human, wonderful creator, and definitely worth the follow. So go and do that. Otherwise, I hope you've all enjoyed. You have says so interesting to see the process. Oh, I'm glad. This is what this whole thing is about. I just want to share the process with you, and bring you along for my ride. I also should tell you. Last week I was telling you where my brand is at. And I'll let you know that because I'm still in this process, it's still very much not going anywhere. I've posted once. I have actually one more post to share, but I've posted once since last week, with my new t-shirt that says I could be reading right now. Oakenbird, so great, thank you. I've loved watching your systems. Oh, thank you. You'll see so much more of the systems coming soon. Obviously this is a lot of just thinking and writing and mind mapping and all of that stuff, but once we've gotten through this strategy workshop stage, we will start doing some more visually fun things, and some actually putting this brand into action. So I'm excited to dive into that and to get to that, but we've got to get there one step at a time through the strategy first, because that's the most important part always. Thank you so much, Beth. This has been full of gold. Thank you. You're so welcome. I love seeing your name and I can't see your face, but I'm imagining your beautiful face here watching. And I love it. So thank you. All right. I'm going to wrap things up and I will see you all next week, if not before, because I do have some other ideas for Twitch streams, but I'm just not sure when I will make those happen. So, thanks so much. See you on Instagram if it doesn't crash again. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.